What's up, guys? Iceman here. So, me's been playing a little bit of Diablo 3, okay? I put about 20 minutes into it last night. And I made this witch doctor character. And I've never really played as the witch doctor. It's the one character that I never gave much attention to back when I was playing Diablo 3. I just wasn't too interested in the summoner, poison, witchcraft shit. You know, I was primarily interested in the demon hunter and the wizard and the crusader and the monk. And I think I liked them. I would generally transition between those four. But it's been alright for a few minutes, alright? And he even has a skill called the Plague of Toads. So, is this skill Toad? It's pretty tight. And as some of you probably know, in Diablo 3, you can modify your skills like this Plague of Toads. Initially, they just jump around and do 190% of your weapon damage. And all your skills in Diablo 3 are based off your weapon damage, which is something I don't like about it. You just had to basically equip the highest damage weapon possible. And it doesn't matter if it does cold or lightning or poison damage. Poison damage in this isn't over time. It's fucking stupid. It just takes away from a lot of the gameplay diversity, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter if it's poison or lightning damage. You just grab it if it does more damage. And the enemy's resistances are, like, the same for all the elements. I don't recall any being, like, more resistant to lightning than they are poison. And this is through the entire end game. It's fucking stupid that they did this. You don't have to strategize, you know, like you did in Diablo 2. Now, I really wasn't planning on bitching about this game this much, but a little bit of bitching, okay? Because there's a lot of things that are fucked up about it. And that Blizzard desperately needs to change for the next Diablo game. It ain't nobody playing Diablo Immortal. Fuck that shit! Fuck that shit! Iceman Vitality. $40 to my PayPal account. Hell yeah! Okay. And a valid shipping address. But yeah, check this out. You can modify your skills like this one. You can make the little toads do fire damage. And they explode. You know, some cool effects. And I like the skill belt that's in Diablo 3. Alright? I wish Diablo 2 had something like this. Instead of just hotkeying all your skills, and then you have to hit F4 and then right click, or F5 and then right click. Whereas in Diablo 3, it's not a two-step thing, you know what I mean? You can just hit 1 and they'll cast it, or 2 and they'll cast it, and 3 and they'll cast it. So I think that's a great mechanic. And that shit, it's almost certainly going to be in the next Diablo game, but I think it's just hard to implement that into Diablo 2 for the modders who mod it and stuff like Path of Diablo. And I don't know why people have backlash to that. Maybe I didn't explain it properly, but to me it sounds like that'd be a good way to go. Because then you don't have to do 2 steps every time you want to cast a different skill. You know what I mean? Like in Diablo 2, you could just hit 1 and she'd cast her meteor. You know, or 2 and she'd cast her hydra. That'd be Toad. That'd be Toad as fuck. But hey, you know what? That's just Ice Daddy's opinion. So it's probably right, but if you guys want to disagree, you know, do it in the comments below. And let me know your thoughts on the changes you hope to see in Diablo 4. And so forth. But what's the other one here? Piercing toads? Mutate to frogs that pierce through enemies. So the toads mutate to frogs. Okay. Rain of toads. Holy shit. Cause toads to rain from the sky that deal 182% weapon damage as poison to enemies in the area over 2 seconds. So some of your poison skills actually over time, but if you have poison damage on the weapon, it's just instant. You know what I mean? Adding... What the fuck is this? Yellow toads that deal 190 damage. 15% chance to confuse affected enemies. Toad affinity. Damn! Gain 9 mana every time a toad hits the enemy. Okay, but let me show you some gameplay with this guy. Yeah, Diablo 3, you can zoom in and out. He's only level 14. And check this out. I have like this summon dogs on the belt. So he summons 3 dogs. And so far, my playtime, like none of them have died, so it's worked out well. Then he has a couple other skills. Zombie Charger. I like this Grasp of the Dead. It's pretty toad, and it has a cooldown. It doesn't cost any mana, but it has a cooldown. So we'll show some of the gameplay. The thing is, Diablo 3's ladder is going to reset this Friday, okay? I think that's the 17th, right? I plan to play it for a little bit. I generally find like the first some hours of Diablo 3 to be entertaining. The problem is the end game and how it's all reliant on the sets and how there is no rarity to things. Like, there are no super rare items anymore. It's fucking bullshit. You know, they made these changes so that babies could play. So Diablo 3, for the most part, is made for babies. And it wasn't really like that upon release. And that's when it sold millions of copies, and that's when people were staying on. Was when it had like an extremely hard difficulty. And you had to only utilize like certain builds to be able to get through it. You know, but Blizzard must have gotten concerned during that time. They're like, well, the babies aren't playing, and the babies can't play this game, so we need to really simplify shit. So let's start by not making anything super rare, like we had in Diablo 2 that keeps people on there for 20 plus years and playing it. You know, let's take away things that were as rare as like the Burr rune, the Jaw rune, and all those runes, and Tyrgul's Might and stuff. And let's just make everything like equal in terms of its finding chance. So they can just attain all the items in a few hours. You know, that's what happened with this shit. It's fucking bullshit, isn't it? Like, they made it so that babies can play this shit. And I don't know if that's what Diablo 4 is going to be like or not. I'm concerned it's going to partly be like that. But I think they've learned some. They might listen some. Not much, but maybe they've heard us a little bit. To where... Because they did say they're going to, like... Their theme for Diablo 4 is... it's like dark and some shit. I don't know. They're trying... You know, it sounds like they're trying to escape somewhat the whole... animated thing where it looks like a cartoon, so it might be somewhat of an attempt to cater it toward an older demographic or something, you know, but I'm sure they're going to try to hassle in a bunch of babies and stuff as well at the same time, but maybe not so much as they did with Diablo 3 and where this game has gone. But yeah, okay, I'm bitching a little too much. Wasn't supposed to bitch the whole time. But here's a good thing, okay? In Diablo 3, this coming season, they're going to give everyone the passive bonus of the ring set that's called Litany of Nightmares or something, to where every primal or ancient item you have, which is a super unique, they're like 10 times more rare than just a basic unique, and I think the primal ones are like, they're 5 times more rare than the ancient ones. But if you have either of those two in your slots, for every item slot you have, one of those items, and you get a 750% damage bonus to all your skills. And I like that because it opens up some build potentials to where you can use any of your skills you want, because they're all getting enhanced with this set as you gain your Ancient of Realms. And it'll take longer to build your character up. Whereas previous to this, you just had to get to level 70, and they give you the damn set if you do a couple pointers, you know, because it's made for babies. Like I said, you just have to follow the instructions, and you'll get the whole set. And then all the builds in the end game of this were all built around the sets, and they still are. But they're just making this one change this season where that set bonus is going to be applied to everyone, as long as you're not wearing an additional set. And you don't have to wear those rings either, just you get it from the beginning, to my understanding, the bonus. So I think that'll be quite toad for a minute, you know? And it'll just be a way to change things up for a minute. Because I've been playing a lot of Diablo 2, and I will still make videos on that. I might make a video or two on Diablo 3. And if it's well received on this channel, maybe I'll make a few more, you know? But I am kind of waiting for the Diablo 2 Path of Diablo ladder to reset, as many of us are. But if they don't reset it anytime soon, I'll just keep playing my hardcore stuff. And it's kind of like a personal ladder reset doing that. as long as you don't get too invested into trading, because the market is very saturated with items now because it's so late into the game. But okay, so this is Torment 1, and my character's handling it okay. This is another big issue with Diablo 3. There are like 17 fucking difficulties. Like really, there's like 13 or 17 difficulties. I don't even feel like counting. It doesn't even matter. It's way too damn many. And when it was first released, it just had Normal, Nightmare, Hell, and Inferno. They had an additional difficulty, and I thought that was a great idea. And Inferno was damn near impossible. But it kept us going, you know what I mean? But then they made it easy, and they started stack because they knew the babies didn't like the Inferno. The babies would quit or something, even though everyone else was still playing. The babies would just quit, and they wanted to be like the big boys who were playing Inferno. So Blizzard said, okay, let's just make Inferno really easy, and then the babies can play. And then the babies got on again and played, and then Blizzard started adding more difficulties. Like, let's have Inferno like 15 or 16. Let's just have it in little levels where it just gets a little harder. But let's not have any additional items drop there. Let's just increase the item drop chance to where uniques are just raining on the characters. Let's just rain uniques on everyone. And that was fucking bullshit. Because it just became overwhelming. Uniques are just everywhere. And it gets sickening just picking the damn things up and smithing them into their little brimstones that you can use to craft shit. You know, uniques lost their value. They became more common than rares in Diablo 2. They became like as common as magic items in Diablo 2 as you stack up in those difficulties. So that's fucking bullshit. Isn't it? There's no reward to it anymore. You know, when you just have them rain from the sky. It doesn't keep us going and playing, I think. And that's why most people have left this game. But anyway, you can also like, this is my non-ladder characters, so I have a ton of shit on them and all these crafting materials. Hellfire ring, and I just found out that you can wear these Hellfire things at any level. So I can put on this amulet, for example, and I just like quadrupled my damage. Holy shit. So now I can go to, and I just doubled it right there. Shit. And I guess I'll put this in there, and I could do even more. I could put this in a level 70 item weapon and equip that and put one of those damage jewels in the weapon and just face roll like Torment 15 or something at level 14. But of course it scales with your character. Yeah, but the problem is there are just too many difficulties in this game. And there's like no benchmark to things, and it's especially dull because there are no additional items you can find from Inferno 1 to Inferno 15 or whatever. It's all the same items. It just gets more and more annoying as you increase the difficulty because uniques just start raining from the sky to where it's just overwhelming and you just want to get up and quit. You're just tired of picking up all the fucking uniques to, just to brimstone them. So, but then they decided to make the Ancients and Primals, which is kind of nice because they're more rare. And it can take you a really long time to find like a primal endgame item for your character. But the thing is, the only difference it makes then when you do find those is it just makes the numbers go a little higher. It just makes your damage and defense go a little higher. That's all they do. From the basic legendary to the primal legendary. It's the only difference. So they don't offer any game-changing mechanics outside of just scaling the numbers more. Whereas in Diablo 2, you'd really strive to get that infinity because it'd give you the conviction aura where you could, it'd be game-changing because all of a sudden your lightning character can run these other areas in the game with lightning immune monsters. It was very rewarding, right? To get items like that. And with Path of Diablo, there's Tyrael's Might, which nobody ever frickin' finds. But you can strive to find it. You can make that Paladin charge build with it. And you gotta slam it, which is even more rare, to get 4 sockets. It's almost impossible. It's damn near impossible. So the ceiling in Diablo 2 is so high that there's always something to strive for, you know? There's always something to find. And it doesn't have just to do with showing bigger numbers on the screen. It has to do with changing the mechanics of the way that the game plays and the things you can do with your character, so it's exciting. Whereas in here, the most exciting thing about finding the most rare of items is just the numbers are a little bigger when they jump above the enemy's head as you're doing damage. You know, there's no change in the gameplay to look forward to. And I think this is another thing that Blizzard did to cater to the babies, because the babies see the big boys doing this, and the babies know it's going to take forever to find these impossible items. So they said, okay, so the divide from the babies and the big boys now, instead of having it be game-changing mechanics, like getting conviction auras or having your character do different things that they couldn't do previously to finding these godly items, let's just make the numbers a little bigger that jump above their heads. So maybe the babies won't even notice the numbers. Maybe the baby will look at it and be like, oh, I'm doing the same thing the big boys are doing, good. So I'll just keep playing this as well. And then maybe the big boys will be satisfied with just the idea of, oh, my numbers are bigger though than the babies, see? So I just like making bigger numbers jump above the enemy's heads when I do damage, because that's essentially what you're going for when you're trying to get the most rare of items. You see the numbers? You see the numbers? Like the big boys, I guess the benefit you can get by playing this a lot is you get like billions of damage. Jump above the enemy's heads. Because everything else is the same. All the gameplay's the same. All the areas you go are going to be the same from Tournament 1 to Tournament whatever. See, that's a big oopsie by Blizzard, I think. And it's fucking lame, man. Actually, I think do I have the, okay, I have the explosive toads now. Let's see what the explosive toads do. And I might have another passive active now because the amulet, no, it looks like I don't actually, because the Hellfire Amulet gives a passive. The Grave Injustice passive. Let's see what that is. And the thing is, I know there are folks who really try to defend Diablo 3, but I think their argument lacks, like, cohesive logic, you know what I mean? If you think about the things that drive you to want to play, and how Diablo 2, it caters to our primal imperatives that we have to hunt and gather, and to, you know, to rise above the others around us and to make our character godly, you know. So it really makes us, it keeps us playing. Whereas Diablo 3, it's hard to want to keep playing, I think, for most of us, if the end game result is just getting bigger numbers above the characters' heads, you know. We want to have the godly gear that make the game change a little bit, that allow your character to do things that they generally can't do, unless if you just put so many hours in, then somebody can see you casting like certain skills that your character's not supposed to be able to cast. But the reason you're able to is you found this super rare item that's like as rare as Tyrael's Might or something, or rare as a Zod rune or something more. Right? Okay, fine. Maybe the arguments are cohesive, and if they are, state them in the comments below. And like this damn video, and subscribe to the page. And if you want to talk shit, do such in the comments, and become a patron if you want, okay? Like, every dollar helps, okay? So, yeah, just become a patron if you want. If you want to talk shit, you know, consider becoming a patron, and so forth. I'm not that desperate for patrons, okay? I'm just trying to use this as like as a means of showing that I do welcome shit talkers. And let me know what you want in Diablo 4, because maybe Blizzard is listening, ever so slightly, of course, to the fan base, but maybe they'll take notes. I don't know. Just in general, you know, amongst the community as a whole. And of course, my channel is very small, so it's probably unlikely they're going to come here to listen. But there's a chance they would. But yeah, it's important to be vocal, like, on the bigger channels. Like, go on Riker's channel and say shit that you want in Diablo 4, and maybe they'll listen. I don't know. But anyway, I'm probably going to play the Wizard when the ladder resets. Hopefully I can play without bitching constantly. But I don't do that when I'm playing by myself without recording, so I'll probably play a little bit and then make a video when I'm like level 20 or something and show my thoughts. Here's another thing that's new with these recent patches is you can filter your items, so you can find, like if I have a storm shield or something, right? You can click away and, or storm something in the name, either Storm Crow. In fact, I think this is one of the really old ones. Yeah, it adds 7% lightning damage, see? That's like a collector's item right there, man, because this doesn't even drop anymore. I don't know if it's very viable. Here's the new one. Yep. But anyway. They added some filter thing. They give you a huge stash, of course. It might be even bigger next ladder, I don't know. And, yeah, it's nice how we're not going to have to use just a set to be endgame. Oh shit, I have another skill now. Gargantuan. Holy shit. Holy shit. Okay, let's try that out. The summon thing has been kind of fun, actually, because I wanted a character to try this character, because I just thought maybe it'd be interesting to see how, like, the summons do. And, of course, there are skills where you can empower them. I think their AI is pretty good in Diablo 3. Yeah, the summons are toad. Oh, and here's the frogs that's supposed to explode. See the toads? Holy shit. Just hit another level. This guy's leveling up fast as spook. Okay, so I have a bunch of skill modifiers that I could use right now. Locust Storm. Shit. Yes, I'm about to level up again. It's easy when you put the jewel in your helmet and you have pretty high-end gear when you can craft it. You can get to 70 in no time. But anyway, let me know if you guys want to see more Diablo 3 videos once in a while. Are you interested in seeing a little bit of my ladder progress when I play? I probably won't play it for very long, but you know, maybe I'll make a video on it if it goes well. 20% of mana costs are paid with life. The fuck? 1%, so you regenerate more life. Oh, that's toad. I guess I'll do this one for defense. Oh shit. I already have a modifier for Gargantuan. Okay, this one. Cleave ability. Multiple enemies. That's toad. And he'll look different. You know? I like it how all the skill modifiers make your skills look a little different and do different things. So now this guy can cleave. And I have another... Shit, this is toad. I'll have the dogs, like, chill him. The dogs are cold empowered now. Yeah, so Gargantuan does, what is it? Like splash damage, like in Diablo 2. Path of Diablo. This is toad as fuck, man. It's actually kind of fun, you know? But like I said, the end game probably has some issues. But it might be kind of exciting this ladder to try to gather more primals. But again, the end result is just going to be more damage. You know, that's all you're going to get. You're not going to, like, be able to strive for super rare items that change the gameplay. It's just going to change the number of torment you can do and the numbers you spit above the enemy's heads. That's it. But you just got to try not to think about that. I think it might be the challenge. Just try not to think about how dumbed down this shit has been. And maybe you could enjoy yourself for a little while. It's kind of what I want to do for a minute. Increase the damage done. Holy shit. To 1300? That's toad. That's another thing, is the numbers on here are just way too vast in their scaling. Like, there are sets that do 6,000, 7,000, 9,000 enhanced damage. It's just such bullshit that they have to keep making the numbers bigger and bigger. You know, they start to lose their excitement when they just get so large, and that's the end game result, is just increasing the number size, you know, and the scaling. So in Diablo 4, I hope they tone it down. Like, have your end game damage be like it is in Diablo 2, where you got a barbarian who does like 10,000 frenzy damage, and that is just godly. Instead of how it is in Diablo 3, where you have a barbarian who does like 5 million frenzy damage, and that's godly. You know, keep it down to the thousands. I think that really helps shit stay grounded. So that's another criticism, I think. I'd go into that more if I wanted to, but it's just another thing that's annoying about Diablo 3, is they just keep scaling the numbers up with shit. And just keep it basic, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to comprehend, you know, millions and millions, but it's easier to comprehend a few thousand. You know, to see, whoa, my barbarian does 8.3k damage, but Ice Hogs does 10.3. He's toad. You know, instead of mine does 5,700,600 and his does 5,800,000. You know, just that shit gets annoying, and it starts to lose its grounds in reality, I think. But anyway, that's enough of this shit. If you guys will like this video, let me know your thoughts on, you know, Diablo 3 and the videos you want to see Iceman make. I do got a nice video coming out that's going to be another gym video, so stay tuned for that. And some hardcore stuff. So like this damn video if you will, become a subscriber, and peace be with you.